Hey guys, it's Miss Z, and I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about how to get your under the sea artwork started. So you'll start in our Google Classroom right here, and you can see that there's a doc here I want you to go to. You're going to click and open up this doc. Every single direction for this entire project is in the doc. This looks like a lot of steps, and it is a lot of steps. I'm not going to lie to you. But we're going to work on this for at least 2 classes, so you don't need to stress about trying to rush to get everything finished, okay? The very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take a picture of ourselves and we're going to edit away the background. We're going to make that background transparent, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So you're going to start by clicking on pixlr.com/editor. And when you get here, you're going to want to click on Open Image from Computer. You're going to go to the out box because I'm putting things out to you. And you're going to scroll down and find Shaber Digital Art. Easy to find me because my name starts with the letter Z. Click there. Go to 4th grade art. And you're going to go to Student Portraits. Student Portraits. And you're going to go to whomever's class you were in. I'm going to start with Miss McNeil's class. And I'm going to pretend that I'm Samuel. So you'll click Open. Now, if you want to see the pictures, you can click right there, of course. But your name is there, so it should be pretty easy to find yourself. You can click Open and wait, and there's Samuel. Okay, the very first thing you need to do is you need to get rid of the lock on the background layer because that is going to enable us to make this background transparent. So whenever I say a layer, that means you're coming over here and you're looking in the layer box. Whichever layer is blue is the one you're working on. We only have one layer, so that's the one that's highlighted. So I'm going to go ahead and double click. Very good. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to get my magic wand tool because that's going to enable me to get rid of this blue. So I'm going to click on that. And you notice when I click on that, this little number appears. This is the tolerance. We're going to turn that up to about 40. I always push 41, but you could do 40, 41. And then you're going to click somewhere on the background. And when I do that, do you notice that it clicks a little bit right here? See all that stuff it got? If I hold down Shift, I can get more. So notice when I hold down the Shift, I'm going to push Shift. Do you see how it gets a little plus sign? Do you see that? Yeah. That enables me to grab more of this background. And the more background I grab, the easier this will be. Okay. So I've grabbed a lot of background. So now I'm going to go Edit, and I'm going to choose Cut. The other thing you can do, it tells you, you can push Control X on the keyboard. And that gets to be a lot faster than having to go to Edit, Cut every time. So there we go. Oh, and look, now I have a perfectly clear background. After you do this, you have to save. Pixlr likes to crash, and we're going to save a lot. Here's how you save. You're going to go to File, Save. You can keep that name, that's fine, but you have to change this. JPEGs don't allow for transparent backgrounds. They always have a white background. Do you see how it's fixed it? And it's no longer the checkerboard that means clear. All right, we're going to change that. We're going to change it to a PNG. There it is. Now it's going to be transparent for us. You're going to click OK. And I want you to save it to your H drive, okay? So this is my H drive. I'm going to click on my H drive, and I'm going to make sure I have saved it, okay? There it is. Now, we're going to keep this open because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add the scuba mask and that scuba tube. This tube is actually the snorkel, but I called it a tube for our directions, so we're going to stick with that. So what you'll do is you're going to go to Layer, Open Image as Layer. That's easy. And then you have to go to Outbox again. You have to go down to Shaber Digital Art. You're going to go to 4th grade Digital Art, and now you're going to choose Under the Sea. And there's a bunch of stuff in this folder, okay? But right now what you're worried about is Snorkel Mask and Snorkel Tube, and they're all the way at the bottom. They start with the letter S. So let's start with Snorkel Mask. Oh, there it is. Now that looks like that might be a little bit too big, right? So I want to make sure that I've got my Move tool. See my Move tool right here? It was on my Magic Wand tool, but I want it on my Move tool. That's my Move tool. So I can click and put it where I want. That's still too big. So to make it smaller, I'm going to go to Edit, Free Transform. And now I can make it smaller. I can make it wider. You know, I think, do you see how it has little straps that kind of go on either side of his head? I think that looks pretty good right there. So then once I like it, I'm going to click anywhere off to the side. So see right here, I'm going to click. It's going to ask me a question. Do I want to accept these changes? And I'm going to say, yes, I do. So now I need to add the snorkel tube. And do you see how it made another layer? See, here's the portrait and there's the mask. Now we're going to do the snorkel. So we're going to go to Layer, Open Images Layer, and you're going to go all the way down and you're going to find the snorkel tube. Oh, there it is. It's a little bit big. We're going to go edit, free transform. Now, I want the tube to be on this side of his face because that's how our drawings were. Do you remember that when we were drawing these? Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Now, it's a little crooked, isn't it? So what I'll do is I'll just go right here. See where it turns into a turn? Now I can turn it however I want it to go. I can put it right there in my mouth. I can always make it bigger if I need to. That seems like that's really big. Maybe we'll tilt it just a little bit. Oh, that looks pretty good right there. Okay, so there it is. And I'm going to click OK and yes. Now, do you see where this looks a little bit weird right here? Like it's not really quite in my mouth or in Samuel's mouth. So what I'll do here is I'm going to make sure I'm on the snorkel layer. I'm going to get my eraser tool. And I'm going to make sure it's, see, that's a fuzzy one. I don't want one that's fuzzy. And that shows me how big it is. And I'm going to go in here. I'm just going to erase a little bit of that snorkel. Do you see what I'm doing? Just a little tiny bit. And now it looks a little bit more like that snorkel is really in the mouth. Do you see that? That looks better, doesn't it? Okay. Once you like it, you're going to have to save it again. You're going to go to File, Save. Okay. Again, we don't want a JPEG. It has to be a PNG file. Choose PNG. Click OK. And you're going to save it to your H drive again. And if you want to change the name of it a little bit, you can. Like I might just say Sam Snorkel. Okay. You could pick your name, Snorkel, and you're going to click Save. All right. So there it is. Now you're done with your portrait. This is probably where you'll get to at the end of the first day. If you get a little bit further, you can continue on the directions and keep going. But this is a good stopping point. So what you'll do is you're going to actually exit out. And I know that's really scary. You've already saved it, so you don't need to save it again. Okay. And then you would move on to the next step, which I'm getting ready to go on to right now. So the next step is you want to pick your background and you want to put your portrait in the background. So you're going to go to Open Image from Computer again. And you're going to go back to the outbox. You notice how I'm putting things in that outbox for you, right? Go down to Shaber Digital Art. I want you to choose 4th grade under the C. Now, if you click right here on this triangle and you choose large icons, now you can see them. You might even want to choose extra large so you can see them really, really well. There's a bunch of stuff here. I have one picture from Finding Nemo, and I do have one picture from The Little Mermaid. So if you want to pick one of those, you can. Look, there's Little Mermaid. I also have some that have some shipwrecks in them, and I think those are really, really cool. Ooh, this one's really nice. So let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and pick one for you. Let me decide which one I'm going to pick. Let's do this one. This one looks like fun. Okay, there it is. There it is. Isn't that great? Okay, so same thing. I'm going to double click to get rid of my padlock. Now I want to add that snorkel picture of myself. So I'm going to go to Layer, Open Images Layer. Okay, now I have to go back to my H drive because that's where I saved my portrait. There I am, Sam Snorkel. Click Open. And there I am. Now, that might be too big. You might want it to be smaller. Do you know how to make things smaller? That's right. You go to Edit, Free Transform. So I'm going to go to Edit, Free Transform because I want it to be just a little bit smaller, not much smaller. Now, can I show you something kind of cool about this? You could, obviously you want to be touching an edge since we don't have any more body than that. So you could say, yeah, sure. I want him right here. Oops. Do you see how I made a mistake? I'm going to push down Control Z to fix my mistake. And then I'm going to make sure I have the Move tool selected so I can move him. Okay, so now I can move about. The other thing I could do is I could go, oops, I could go to Edit, Free Transform, and I could turn it upside down and be snorkeling around upside down or from the side or anything. Do you see that? Like, look, I could go right here. Look at that. Kind of crazy, right? So it's your choice where you want to go, okay? I think for me, I'm a teacher and I kind of tend to be a little bit boring. So how about I think I'm just going to do it just like that. That looks good. I'm going to click and say yes. Now you do have to save this again. So you're going to go File, Save. And you don't want to save it as background 14. I want you to save it as your name, C. So I'm going to say Sam C. And then I'm going to make sure I save it as a PNG file. Click OK. And you want to save it again to your H drive. Okay. So there it is. That's it. All right. And then what you're going to do is you're going to leave this here. And we're going to go on and we're going to go find some extra images. Okay. So what you'll do is you'll go back to your directions. Now we're all the way, look at this. We're all the way down here. I mean, we've gone so far already, okay? So you're going to click here and you're going to go to openclipart.org. And here in openclipart.org, you're going to find some extra things to add to your underwater scene. So I just typed in fish. You could type in other things. So look at this fish. He's so cute. So I'm going to click on that. I have to click all the way through. And, oops, sorry. Instead of right-clicking, I'm going to go right here. Do you see where it says small image PNG? I'm going to click right there. And it is going to actually send that to my downloads folder. And you need to remember that it's going to be in your downloads folder, okay? So I want you to find several things. Like, why don't I find a jellyfish? Okay. I like this one. And again, I'm going to scroll down and choose small image. Let's say you need to add at least 5 things, okay? So that's 2. I would go ahead and I would find 5 things. But for the sake of our video, taking foreverness, I'm only going to pick 2, okay? Once you're done with that, you're going to go back here to your background. If you need to open it back up, that's fine. You can do that. And once it's open, you're going to go to Layer, Open Images Layer. Now this time you have to go to your Downloads folder because that's where they are. Oh, look, there they are. I'm going to choose my fish. There he is. Now that fish is a little bit big, right? So I might make him a little bit smaller. So I would go Edit, Free Transform. And if I wanted to, I could make a school of fish. And the way I would do that is, do you see where I'm on this layer? I can right click on that layer and I can say duplicate layer. And now actually there's 2 fish. Up, and I can go Edit, Free Transform and make one a little bit smaller. Okay, so there we go. Now I might go to Layer, Open Images Layer, and then I'm going to choose my jellyfish. There's my jellyfish. It's kind of nice. You know, things can go off the edge of your paper too. Okay, so let's say I've finished my 5 things and I'm totally finished. All right, what you're going to do is you're going to go to File, Save. Always save it as a PNG file for me. That's the best way. Say OK, and then make sure it is saved to your H drive. So you have to go find your H drive and save. And you might have to replace the one that's already there. That's okay. You can say yes. And then finally, to turn it in for me, you'll do that drag and drop thing that we've done 100 times. And I have some directions for you on how to do that, but it's pretty straightforward. So I want us to get to this point because once we're totally finished and we have a self-portrait and we've got it on an underwater scene and we have on a snorkel and we have fish and we have other things added, we're going to take this into Pixlr app and we're going to animate it. So you'll actually have an animated picture of yourself under the sea, which is pretty cool to me. All right. So if you have any trouble, you can watch this video as many times as you like. Okay, guys? So you go have a blast and I will be here to help you. Thanks.